Most everything that we know, we're taught. It's the social construction of all things.
Order now. You get the camera, you get the printer.
I think when people are afraid of aging, they are afraid of what they've been taught about it. We have these ideas from movies and TV that when you're old, you're really ugly and you're covered in wrinkles and you're grumpy and all these like awful things. But I think people are afraid of it because they're not around it enough. The more that you're around an older person, you see that like they're just like you. When somebody meets an older person, they're like, wow, you're so cool. And it's like, of course.
What do you need, honey?
I became interested in gerontology, the study of aging, when I was a freshman in college. I started sitting with a lot of older people in senior communities, nursing homes, assisted living homes. I started to interact with this part of our population that is so segregated from the rest of our communities. And I found that all of the people I was interacting with are amazing, and I loved hanging out with them. And I noticed how much they enjoyed hanging out with me. And then on the other end of the spectrum, I similarly noticed people my age were also feeling like they wanted to connect. And so I thought, well, that's so easy. Why not connect people? I had the idea to start Ageless Interaction, and the whole mission is to connect people of all ages and generations together through visual arts to help redefine how we think about aging. Visual arts have this amazing capacity to provide a platform for people to connect. It's the vehicle I use to break the ice.
That's perfect. That's really beautiful.
Yeah, I need your approval here because I really don't know what I'm doing.
You're doing awesome. You're doing great. So you can fill it in a little bit more. The other cool thing about painting nature is there's really no right or wrong way to do it. That's just, I feel like, painting in general.
One of the things I really love about art is it's one of the only forms of expression you can create and layer and cover up. It allows for people to let go of outcomes and judgments. You have this vision of what you want to do, but your painting is never, ever, ever going to come out like that. And that's the beauty of it. In this postmodern, computer-generated world, we expect things to be perfect at the get-go. And in the Ageless classes, I think what I try and do is help people see that art isn't about making it look perfect. I've always created as a hobby, and it wasn't until I started using visual arts within Ageless Interaction and the work that we do that I started to see art as something a lot more macro, a lot more useful and applied in terms of how you can make a difference and make a living. So it's always been there, but it's always been a little bit more in the back burner. And now that I've been a full-time artist for the past 3 years, it's become a lot more of a central focus. And it's grown a lot too. So I started out with painting, and then I loved the idea of creating arresting visuals, things that are big and vast that kind of stop you in your tracks and you have to look at it. And so I've always loved the idea of doing murals. So part of the cool thing about murals is they're really functional. And what I mean by that is they become involved in the environment that they're within, and they become a part of that structure and that system. And so I love this idea of functional art. How can we bring art into everyday moments and make them more artful? And going along with this idea, I love thinking of tattoos as functional art. How can we adorn our bodies in a visually appreciative way? So right now I am tattooing my brother using a stick and poke method, in which you hand poke a tattoo on somebody using a needle, a simple sewing needle. I experimented on myself to see, what the process is like. I mean, it looks like a stick and poke, but...
Do you like that look, or are you going to go back over it?
No, I like that look. It's hand. We're so brainwashed with machine-made things these days. Like, we just think that it's not totally perfect. It's not good. Because everything's, like, printed by lasers and stuff.
Is that you preparing me for a fucked up tattoo?
No! I love adorning my body with design and artful creations, and I love accessorizing in that way. Why not put something beautiful on your body? You got the space, I can't speak to what I'm going to feel about my tattoos when I'm 86. I think when people ask, like, what do you think about tattoos when you're older? It's not even a question. It's like more of like their fear projecting itself onto your tattoo about their aging process, really. We are afraid of wrinkled skin because it is a signifier of aging. And I don't think tattoos actually have anything to do with it. I think people say, what do you think that's gonna look like when you're older? And it's a little bit less about the tattoo and a little bit more about how we culturally think about aging. Like, your skin gets wrinkled. So what? People are so much more than what they produce. They're so much more than their skin and their bones. Who you are is about it's again going to those small moments of connection. All right, so Mona, tell us your name and how old you are. Or how young you are, however you want to phrase it.
How wise I am. I prefer that.
Okay.
I am 88. I like to think it represents things I've learned.
Happy birthday to you. Not everybody is experiencing the same socioeconomic status or gender or education, background, religion, ethnicity. But the one thing that everybody has in common is they are aging. Everybody's growing. Everybody has a birthday.
I think it tells us a lot about who we are as a society by how we treat those who are vulnerable. And that includes those who are aging, which is, right now I'd say it's not a great testimony to who we are. There's a big debate out there whether or not they should just develop robots who can take care of people who are older, because they'll take care of their physical needs and that's all that they need done. Or maybe they should also show empathy, artificial empathy. Well, the problem with artificial empathy is it's like an expression of emotions with no real emotion behind it. So you're kind of thinking, that is such a sad, it's hollow. So we talk about layers. There's nothing layered in that empathy.
No.
Artificial empathy is all just like from,
an algorithm.
Yeah, exactly.
Young people can be more engaged with older generations and the world outside of them by showing up. You're always going to find something in common with somebody, whether you're 18, 88, 28, or 98. You can go to a senior center, you can go to a nursing home, and all you have to do is sit down, and I promise you, somebody will be like, what's your name? Who are you? Like, where are you from? People have this organic, strong desire to connect with one another. The cultural ideas that we have around aging are based in fear and ignorance. And so if you connect people together, you're always going to break down those barriers. And so I want to create spaces where people can do that.